You know, I got to say, Dominic, during the 9 a.m., the 9 a.m. was a great clearance rack, or whatever we call it now.
Where the hell is it?
Because finally you spoke up for anti-libertarianism, Dominic.
Well, it's true, because Jack and Joe have never said don't state your point of view.
Right.
And you know, because we've talked, that I think when you get to know libertarianism, they're scary. So, but it's interesting to me that Jack and Joe said, well, it's not. I think they even admitted it's scary, because they're talking about the morons that want to rewrite the Constitution every 19 years. And,
okay, Ben the Rat tweeted you that, and now that's going to be your
and they don't want,
McDonald's death hamburger.
That's exactly
example for the next 50 years.
I've interviewed some libertarian guy years ago who was running for president in Las Vegas, and he came in and I was really excited, because I think everybody's like, freedom, freedom.
Right. Do your own thing.
Yeah, God bless you. And if you die from that hot dog, I won't eat another one. Yeah. So and then I started talking to him. I was like, uh-oh, this is scary. So I started asking questions like, Sacramento, everybody has to drive on the right side of the street. Yeah. But in San Francisco, they decide everybody drives on the left side of the street. And in Stockton, everybody's got to drive in the middle of the street. Wow. And that's the decisions they make. So, because you don't want to have one rule for everything. So the guy's telling me this, and I thought he was going to, when I told him this, I thought he was going to say, well, no, of course, that's stupid. Everyone should drive on the right side of the street. Yeah. And he said, well, if you want it, if you all get together and you decide we should drive on the left side of the street.
Aren't you for local rights and states' rights? Isn't that the argument?
I'm driving down the street also. Now I got to drive on the right side of the street. Now we got to drive on the left side. Let me tell you.
But do you think everything should be centrally located from Washington, D.C. and
let me tell you how
be uniform?
Let me give you an example how dumb it is. I was living in Las Vegas, and I had a concealed weapons permit from the police. Mm-hmm. Means I could carry a weapon on me at all times.
Right. This is because you were a talk show host?
Yes, and someone tried to kill me. So I could carry...
shocking. I would never guess that.
And he was...
Did you stop going to the movies with him?
It was a Vietnamese guy, too. So I was...
was he short?
I had carry the gun, but one of the requisites, the rule was I had to take a 2-day class. Yeah. Which I appreciated, because I didn't know all the things about guns.
Yeah,
right?
It makes sense.
You pull this, and I found that as a marksman, everything.
In the movies, they always say it's like a camera, just point it and shoot.
Yeah, and then like that.
You were a good shot?
I was a great shot. And we even did it. They even did the classic. Now fall to one knee and shoot. So, it's like, now left-handed shoot. Boom, boom. Now here's the thing, how stupid it is. In Las Vegas, which is Clark County, which is a bunch of other little places, because in Las Vegas,
it's where the whores are legal, Dominic.
Las Vegas. No, it's not in Clark County. Actually.
That's right.
I could drive I could have the gun on me in Las Vegas.
Right.
And as I'm driving down the street and I'm about approaching North Las Vegas, I'm supposed to pull my car over, get out of the car, put the gun in the trunk of the car, unload it, take the bullets and put them in the front of the car, and I had to do that to be legal to drive through North Las Vegas.
Yeah, Washington.
When I got it in North Las Vegas in Henderson, I had to pull over the car, get the gun back. I mean, it's like...
Okay. But what Washington D.C. has similar, very
crazy,
strict
right?
gun laws. But what if a state said? What if California said, okay, in Santa Barbara and San Diego and San Francisco and all over California, you all drive on the right side, on the left side of the lane, and then when you leave the state, you go back on the right side. I mean, is statewide okay?
No. Do you know how many Americans go to England and they rent a car and get killed because they forget?
Shut up, Dominic.
They forget.
How many?
You think that happens a lot?
16.
16?
Yeah. And if we said one person...
Where did you pull that statistic from?
I mean, let's be honest. If you started driving down the street and realized everybody's coming at you...
Yeah, but still, you know what happens?
I like how Dominic's excited. Do you know how many people go to England and rent a car and die?
Because I've read about people going to England, and it's a natural thing. Whenever you're we naturally drive on the right side of the street, so whenever something goes, when you hit ice. You're always supposed
Wouldn't the steering wheel on the opposite side of the car distract you?
Yes, it would. But if you hit ice, you're supposed to turn to the opposite way you're in the ice or whatever. Mm. And I noticed when I hit ice, from all these years of doing it, it's just a natural reflex. Mm. I'm just afraid I might be driving in England one night and I forget and drive on the wrong side of the road.
You not for nothing, okay? You've been in Canada for 3 days once in your life.
No, I think it was a week.
But I think when I put it to Jack and Joe, are you for all? Like, are you against all government regulation? Jack said yes. Joe said no. And I think the mix we have right now, a hybrid model, if you will, of private industry groups doing their thing, plus the government, because you can't trust either,
No, you can't trust anybody.
You try your best, though.
So this is what we have on the Armstrong and Getty Show. We've got Joe and Jack, libertarians, Vince, a liberal, Dominic, a Republican, and Patches, don't tell us, but when we come back, I want you to tell us what you are. We got a lot of great stuff. If it happened on Armstrong and Getty this morning, we'll talk about it on the After Show. Talk 650 KSTE. We want to talk about cows and milk.
Yes.
Because we started on it yesterday. And I was surprised because I didn't think Jack and Joe knew I was so adamantly opposed to libertarianism.
Oh, please. Ben the Rat has ratted you out.
I know.
Joe has actually wanted to talk to you about it. We never get around to it.
I know.
Yeah.
I knew that day that Ben the Rat had written a letter to Joe, and Joe said, one time during the show, we're going to talk, mister.
Right.
I knew exactly what that was. It was.
Yeah.
Luckily, I know
mean to me.
I know exactly working with Joe and Jack is they forget 3 minutes later, so we're okay.
Exactly.
We just bring up something else.
If they don't bring it up like off the air in that immediate first break, it's like it's forgotten.
Here's what you do. Here's the trick. Get a shiny object, and you wave the shiny object, and they forget what they were talking about. No, so libertarianism.
The milk fight, raw milk, farmers,
we learned
whatever.
something interesting from that guest who was a libertarian activist. His name was Derrick Friedman. We learned something interesting, which I didn't know. He said 100 people were sharing the milk.
Okay.
So it isn't me and Vince sharing the milk, or me, Patches, and Vince sharing the milk.
Right.
He's selling this milk to 100 people.
Right. So it's a business, it's a livelihood. It might be a side business. Who knows how much income?
I would agree that they could have certain limits. Like you can only, you can sell whatever you make, whatever you cook to 3 people. A certain thing. But when it's 100, 50 people, 60 people, 100 people.
Yeah.
I do like the government stepping in and saying, you gotta make sure you have the clean oven.
And you told those views.
And Joe got so mad.
Right.
What was he saying? Oh, you're a bitch. And I even looked in here, and Jack was getting into it, and Joe wouldn't even look at me. He was so PO'd. It was like, oh, Dominic! He almost said shut off his mic a couple of times because Joe can't handle a smart Republican.
Oh.
Joe can't handle a smart liberal.
What?
Joe, when I had a choice. Do I shut up and not challenge him?
Right.
Or do I bring up the point?
Right. Because it's their in the end, they're the stars. We're not, people don't listen to us. But he said something about you being in diapers and made all these intimations that you were a baby. And then what happened, Dominic?
He came into the control room and he was standing there. I was on the phone, so he went
off
out.
The air during the break.
Off the air. And what he wanted to do is he wanted to apologize for being mean to me and saying that. And I know that was so sweet.
So Joe Getty's a sissy! Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
No. Joe Getty has a heart. That's why
he wussed out.
That's why I don't believe Joe's really a libertarian.